Good morning, and this is your crypto day morning, and today's date is coming in that of December the 10th, 2018. It's that of a Monday, all bets, trades of the like within one's own risk reward. And within the daily term on Bitcoin, market status remains as it has been since the November 14th date, to be that in breakdown mode. And it is in its second correctionary phase. Within such, I use the 18 average to determine such. So therefore, we had one with a price correction on November the 28th, then hanging in there mainly through time and grinding its way lower, leaving such for a small leg lower about 4 days ago. And now back to the 18 average of lows. So that's for therefore, this is another correctionary move. We've already now resisting this level of previous most recent lows on this move here. It could still come up to the 18 average of highs. It would take a price action to the high 38s to do so. That's a differential of about 400 points or a little over 10%, and it would still be this level of support, about a 61.8% correction from this high to this low. Bear market status, it takes a long time for this to heal. For the status to change, it at least has to get the 18 average to flatten out, which would thus change it to that of neutral. If it can get above the 18 average of highs, that's an attempt only to do that in reversal of trend. Looking at this on the shorter term time frame, single hour, I mentioned this little range bound and that it really needed to get above this level of resistance, and it did. But after it did so, it held it for a little while. I was unable to extend any further gains, but it only had a small sell-off at around 1 o'clock in the morning Eastern New York City time, and then it has now since came back down to this previous level of support. But it's since this level, or since that event, it has now came up to the 1 hour 18 average of lows, showing a lot of whatever weakness. But I'm still going to be waiting for a significant move one way or the other. Yes, this shows a little bit of that failed breakdown, but I realize if this is unable to get going and break this downtrend and spark a attempt to revert the trend, thus start to go down and stay sideways, that is most likely going to make a play towards that $3,000 point. And of course, big support. If you fall down in towards like this area here, then short term 3,200, it may hold, but obviously if it doesn't, I'd be looking forward to pierce below the 3,000. Let's move on next to Komodo. And right now there's an arbitrage going on, or a price differential, and it's 1708 handle on the Binance exchange as far as price action is concerned, from this low to this high, making a lower high from this point. But that's fine, that's normal when you have a big decline. Very important to hold the 18. It did so successfully on December the 5th and the 6th. Now over today and the last 2 days beforehand, has been doing well and just holding within this 18 average, and price action has been making nice moves above 18 and before here to 19. When we put the Bittrex chart up, its move got above 19 to 20, and it has not been seeing anything of this level, meaning there's been a large, and there still is a decent differential within the price right now, well over 50 basis points on the 1600 number, so noticeably over that of 3%. And it's been higher for, I have made a spreadsheet yesterday just really quickly to show the differential of the price, which is simply Binance price divided by Bittrex price. And this is 54 periods, 4-hour time frame, 6 periods a day, so therefore, that would work out to close to 10 days, 9 days, but it's gotten up to like 10% differential, great arbitrage opportunity. This should hopefully not only come down and just stabilize near the 1, but maybe just flip back and forth over the next 5 days or so. For if I go to the Komodo platform website, a summary of new features coming on December the 15th, 5 days from now. And it's a major wallet update, which I figured it was, given that the wallets have been down on every exchange that I've checked, which is for every single day, for day after day after day. And on December the 15th, they announced that they were making a major change. So written on here will state that all the exchanges have the wallets down, and by reading this, it will remain so for 5 more days. Which means for me as a trader, I'll be able to move the Komodos back and forth as I will, because about 85% of the Komodo not on, well, within the 2 exchanges here are on Bittrex right now. So I would like to see the ratio go a little bit even so I can sell them on Bittrex, buy them on Binance so they're equal on each site, and then wait for the ratio in here to make a move either down to like around the 92 or the 108 mark so I can maybe make another trade. Now let's go into some alts. First, show some coins not looking the greatest. ATC has been down so much for a while now, and since this correctionary move or this rally from the below the 10 handle up to the close to 12, it has now been showing some support within the 18 average of lows. Yes, it's weakness within such, but it's also doing what it needs for the band to flatten out. But if it does make any break below, you start to see it going at like around 1040, 1030s. Then this thing has the potential to be breaking down below the key support. I think there's a good chance if Bitcoin does its down move, that it's obviously this is just going to follow through, breaking support of the lows, breaking support of previous low, and then making a new low. And so many other coins would be sharing the same aspect, like Litecoin. After all, it had its rally from November 19th up towards here. I need to see it hold the 18 average of lows. It didn't do it. And then it came down quickly to previous low, and it pierced below it. Now it's been just congesting within that area. Yesterday's session shown that it resisted the 18, and it's just within the 4, been resisting it for quite some time, having one rally attempt December 7th that quickly came back, another one to the 18 average of highs that has came back, but now we're seeing weakness amongst the 18 average of lows. So definitely something that wouldn't surprise me if it has another leg lower. And as mentioned, if Bitcoin falls to the 3,000 or so level, it makes sense that this would break support and make establish another new low as well. And I think all these coins will continue its major volatility, where like the web bot talking about crocodile teeth, and this is ideal for the trading strategies I talk about. Big move down, big move up, big move down, big move up. So we're having this big move down now. That's the current story of the market. And of course, within the weekly term, we can see from the breakdown here, it's been in a correctionary mode ever since September, and it's just been showing weakness on the weekly as well. So yes, very easily this could come down and even come maybe to the 50 or so handle, or have another 20-30-ish% reduction crossed against Bitcoin. But I would be expecting similar things again, big moves up, which has occurred last year in December, last year in the spring. It occurred obviously in 2015 in the summer as well. And the final negative chart that I'm going to be showing will be Populous. For it had its low here on November the 20th, this extended correctionary move within the 18 average of highs, was able to get above it. And although you'd want to see it more clearly on a shorter term time frame, it's pretty, I can see just by looking at this on December 4th, that was the day, the opportunity for it to break out, for you have point A low, point B high, correctionary move to the point C low, and then you break out from that point thereafter, getting above there, meeting up with the previous high, and then giving it all back. We see how the 18 low has failed, and it has just done what we would expect in doing so. Quickly down on the 18 average of lows. So if this area doesn't hold the support, or even if it supports it, maybe resists at around the 39 and change level, and then comes back down again thereafter, then you'd be looking for a decent sized leg lower and probably a break below 3,000 into the 2,000s or so range. Dash is an interesting one because it's got a very interesting situation of, I don't know what's going to happen, but it's going to be interesting. As on its daily term, it has come down after breaking down this level of support. Decent leg lower from the last move. And now the correctionary move to the 18. So it can still go a little bit up to like the 22, 25 handle, but still be in the correctionary mode. And it would at that point at least be coming up to an area of previous support. There's where we're at now. There's no previous support there. If you start to see a pattern like this and it does fail below it, well, that's a negative situation like all the others, and it could be continuation of what has already been a decent decline move lower. And now that looking at this on the weekly, and that's the first time in a little while I've looked at this time frame, but you established a support and have now been correcting in here for quite some time, showing weakness amongst the 18. So could be seeing another leg lower. 2017 it was down to the single 11 mark. Maybe it can come down there, even maybe a leg lower down to the 14, but that wouldn't surprise me. But just like I was saying with Litecoin, big moves up, big moves down, I would expect to continue within these types of coins. Now let's take a look at some coins that have interesting up setups. Not many, just a few. Loom Network, which has been sideways within the 18 for quite some time, and it's having a very interesting situation. As after this high on December the 1st, having a nice correctionary move down the 18 average of lows, piercing below it. And then from that point, having a nice rally up to the 18 high. Stayed within there for the last 2 days, but looking as it, well, it is breaking out of it right now. Still, it has to get above these resistance levels between 1487 and 1545. On the single hour time frame, though, we can see that we're back. This is that interesting situation. Up move, the nice little sideways consolidation with major support established, but we also have resistance established where we are now. Haven't been there for a while. Hasn't been near it since this period about 4 dozen periods ago, or whatever, how many it's been since then. And this is an interesting situation because this could very easily spark up from this point and have continuation of this green candle type move, or maybe something like we've seen on this 1300 hour timestamp that went from way low to way high. We could easily have a bullish situation of coming back down to 1364, 1380, 1400 or so, maybe meet up with the 18. Maybe this spends the rest of the day just trading in around the 1400s or so area, and thus it'll be a correcting through time, establishing resistance, but on a break of such a level. And we can see how amazing on the 4 hour that it looks, because there's a big move, nice, amazing correction with the 18 of lows, and this is the period halfway through such right now which has broken it out. And this resistance, which was pretty much tested first on November the 27th, was so again at the end of the month in November. And again here for the 3rd time. So more times you test a level, the more likely it is you take it out. And where does previous resistance come into place? Where I'm right now looking quickly at the 1600 area, but we'll go back to the daily term. It's been down for quite some time. Previous resistance here in the area of about at least 2000 area, 61% correction would probably be around the 1800s or so area for a price objective if it breaks higher. But leaving this daily time frame, that means the 18 lows is going to start to rise, and of course you would expect a decent leg higher as the main one breaking resistance. Next up is Doji coin. On it had a This is the perfect example, of course, how markets, when they go up and down, this is magnificent trading when markets do this type of stuff. For me, at least it is anyway. As far as the weekly term time frame, it's choppy within the 18. It's at the 18 average of lows. It could very easily have a move 18 highs. It could go either way, of course, but when we look at this on the daily term, what I like about this is you make this high November 24th, have an amazing sideways correction, not quite to the 18 lows, but within the band for quite some time. You leave the highs and previous resistance. Now it's back to this key area. It's at this high point. 18 average of lows comes in at about 55, which if it's able to hold this area, start to lift back higher, that would be magnificent. What I'm looking for is a break above resistance. Price action at around 65, 66. If that's what the bid ask is, then that might be in line for the price action of a nice break above the 70 handle. And what I'd like to see ideally is for this to correct more through time or through price to the lows, establish even further a level of resistance at about the 63, 64 handle. But again, the key break above it is what I'd be looking for amongst this coin. Let's finally take a look at the Verge coin, which beautiful up move going from 140 up to 235-ish. and a move to the 18 average of lows down to 160. Had a move to the next day to the highs and just hanging in there. That's enough for the band to flatten out. Looking at this on a 4-hour time frame, just tight within this range. Indecision. Are we going to have a quick move to this previous high, previous low? Question mark, and I don't know. In the hour, you're just getting a lot of the same, so there's no need to shorten it out even more. When you start to see clues of such, yeah, there could be failed moves along the way. But breaking out above this resistance in here, then the next test is back to its established high that it occurred to or it had on November the 29th. Breaking down out below this low, well, previous low in here. And then if it goes below that, well, let's go weekly time frame to see things a bit better. Then maybe we can come down, who knows how much, because this is a poor log scale, hence one of the reasons why the size of the periods before this green period, and even just down everything below in here is much smaller than up here, because the differential from going from like 100 to 200 is the same as 1000 to 2000. We can see there's 1000 here, 2000 there. That takes up like half the screen, and 100 is like down that support, and 200, I mean, terrible chart for that. However, it's obvious to know it's been in a down move. Bitcoin goes down, I think there's a good chance most of these coins will do as well. And then when the bottom is in, and I think it obviously is a matter of when, and I'm going to put Bitcoin up to conclude this video, that I think there's going to be a very, very good chance that all the markets will start to have very good up moves. Markets will continue to have big moves up, big moves down. At least I will be expecting such along the way. And when you want to profit on volatility, we can see that the moves a lot of these coins have are extreme. The potential for high risk, high reward plays is most certainly in form, which is why I start every video off stating that plays are within your own risk, own reward. And yeah, I look at this breakout here in the 5, man, whatever, it's in a sideways move, maybe it might go up. But well, I thank you for tuning in to today's video and have yourself a great day. Bye-bye.